Star Wars Explained. The sad reason Coruscant's police had masks and voice changers. Policing the underworld levels of Coruscant was among the most difficult tasks the planetary government had on its plate. Today, we're talking about the sad reason Coruscant's police had masks and voice changers. So, without wasting much of your time, let's get started with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to this channel, a Star Wars focused channel bent on entertaining both fans and non-fans of the Star Wars universe. And I am your humble host. Like we briefly mentioned earlier, today we're talking about the sad reason that Coruscant's police had masks and voice changers. Policing the underworld levels of Coruscant was among the most difficult tasks that the planetary government had on its plate. Throughout nearly its entire existence, an issue that continually got worse as the lower levels descended further into poverty and crime. In some of the lowest levels of the city planet, it was so bad that the only evidence of there even being a government was the presence of the underworld police officers, as every other supposed public service was non-existent. The only consistent government service the poorest of the galactic capital received was a force of fully masked, cybernetically voiced law officers. So exactly why were the underworld police fully disguised and required to wear voice changers when on duty? Well, it had to do with the cultural divide and deep hatred among the numerous groups of species and clans that lived within the lower levels of Coruscant. The masks and voice changers helped disguise the identity of the officers so that they wouldn't be targeted or have the appearance of being an unfair intimidation force due to their alien species. Historically, Coruscant was always viewed as a galaxy's beacon of opportunity and that anyone, regardless of where they were from, could find success in life if they were to move there. This, of course, led to tens of billions of beings all across the galaxy to migrate to the city planet over the centuries. Unfortunately, for a majority of these immigrants that came to Coruscant, the dream of opportunity was generally replaced with misery, as most of them were quickly forced to live within the lower levels of the planet, where housing was far cheaper. Initially, when immigrants settled within the lower levels, life wasn't terrible, as they usually received some services from the upper service government, since they were not too far down from the surface. However, as more and more immigrants kept on coming, entire city levels were built over already existing ones to accommodate the increasing population. This, of course, reduced opportunities and services to those who already lived there, as Coruscant's government was both too incapable and corrupt to properly invest in its citizens that lived within the deeper underbelly. Over time, as things began to get too miserable for the citizens of the lowest levels, entire neighborhoods and city sectors were divided into gang-like territory, where those who didn't belong within these areas tended to get regularly harassed and sometimes even killed. These divisions generally were based on species, races, or cultural clans from distant planets. So, for example, a district on the underworld level 12 and 14 could be entirely closed off for Rhodians, while another district was closed off for humans that originally came from Corellia. Before you continue, if you like the video so far, please like the video, and if you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button to join the Star Wars family. Rivalries and gangs among these communities were formed that made their living off of hard crime, as well as a deep hatred and disgust drastically increased among specific groups over time. When things got really bad, the government on Coruscant actually considered completely abandoning the lowest levels and just letting them fend for themselves. But concerns about powerful crime syndicates taking advantage of the vacuum of power and a threat of possible united revolution among the displeased citizens led officials to agree that some form of policing was necessary to ensure continued stability on the planet as a whole. As a result, special underworld police divisions were created to secure order and to keep hard crime from ever reaching the surface levels of Coruscant. However, top officials quickly realized that the deep divides and distrust among the many groups of the underworld made it impossible to have a task force made up of various species, as specific ones would be targeted based on where they were stationed at. Additionally, it could have made some communities feel like they were being attacked if they were being policed by aliens or clans that they considered to be rivals, which could have led to more chaos than less. Proposals of using police droids were put in place, but were quickly shut down due to the cost and the risk of them being destroyed for their parts, which could then be sold back within black markets. It was finally decided that the underworld police would wear special uniforms that completely disguised the officers. Long, trench coat-like suits were developed to cover as much of the physical bodies of the officers, along with masks and helmets that disguised their heads. Voice changers were also implemented as a means to further disguise the species of the officer, as some aliens had distinctive sounding voices and speech patterns. While this did greatly reduce any targeted attacks on officers due to their alien species, it did further divide the citizens of the lower levels and the surface level of the government on Coruscant, as they were now being policed by an inhuman appearing and disconnected police force from the upper levels that barely cared enough to provide anything else to them in terms of public service. So guys, there you have it. What do you think? Please tell us in the comment section below, and see you in the next video.